Yo, long time no see, my people. So I'm making a video on Civ 7 today, or some may know as Civilization 7. And overall, I'd like to say it was pretty good. Had a lot of fun with it, but man, there are some big changes. Some I really liked and, well, others not so much. Right now, you're watching the end game, kind of. Which kind of sucks. Because I had this whole early game and mid game recorded, and then poof, gone. So yeah, that's about 20 hours of gameplay just vanished. Love that. But yeah, it is what it is. Now let's start off with the things I kind of liked about Civ 7, right? So first off, cities and towns. Feels way more alive in Civ 6 than, in Civ 6, you had to manually manage your builders, but in Civ 7, construction is tied directly to towns as they grow. You pick how they expand, which adds a nice little strategic element. Honestly, I'm kind of a big fan of this change. The military system got a massive upgrade. They added commanders, which is just a chef's kiss. Instead of just moving hundreds of individual units, you can assign them into a commander, making it way easier to control large armies. Plus, you got war bonuses, so it actually rewards good strategy instead of just throwing units at the problem. Oh, and yeah, flanking mechanics, finally a thing. Attacking from the sides or even attacking from the back gives great damage bonuses. So combat feels a lot more strategical, even tactical at times, which is really fun. Speaking of combat, it's actually kind of balanced now. And what I mean by that is like the air combat, not so broke anymore. Planes aren't the unstoppable gods they were in Civ 6. Navy's kind of fun too, because they also have commanders for the Navy. They also have them for the air units. It's a little strange on there, but I go with it. It's not crazy. It's not bad. City states are now start as barbarians, but instead of just wiping them out, you can actually influence them into becoming essentially vassal nations or even allies, which adds some cool diplomatic things to the game. It makes it fun, and honestly, it's great. It's a great add-on. And visually, the game looks fantastic. Cities actually look unique depending on the civ, which is actually a nice touch. The age system is different. Alright, so this is probably the most controversial change. Instead of just progression through history at your own pace, the game is now split into 3 major ages. Age of Antiquity, Age of Exploration, and Age of Modern, or Modern Age, Everyone advances at the same time, which means no more one player snowballing ahead. On paper, that's cool, but here's the weird part. Your units and progress resets between ages. It's not really clear where it carries over, so you might suddenly lose certain units while keeping others. You keep your commanders and all, but that's about it. It doesn't ruin the game, but it's a massive change, and I can already tell it's gonna divide the community slightly, even piss people off. I kinda was a fan of it, but that's because it's interesting. If you're in a war during the age change, the war ends, it's like time goes by, and that was pretty interesting. So yeah, I don't know. It is definitely an interesting change to the game. I was able to take over a lot of the country by making sure no one had militaries, and then I had a really big military, and then by the next age it just wiped out my military, even out everyone's. But since I had so much land, I was able to build up again and take over essentially what you guys see as the entire continent. Now, as for things I really didn't care for, leaders and civs are no longer really tied together. I mean, that's alright, but I mean, it's kind of weird. So in Civ 7, any leader can lead any civilization. That means you can have Benjamin Franklin running the Spain or Napoleon leading Rome, which is a little weird, but I mean, it's alright. On one hand, it opens up new strategies. On the other hand, it feels kind of gimmicky. I don't know. Some leaders also have multiple versions, which kind of just feels like a lazy way to like actually make it just feels lazy instead of adding new civs realistically. And the UI, I know you guys, if you guys have already seen other videos on this, you guys already know where I'm going with the UI. The UI is a mess. Important information is just hard to find, it feels unfinished, which is kind of disappointing for a 7th installment in this series. I mean, it feels like it was made for a console and we're playing on a PC, so I don't know. But for console players, I don't mean any offense or anything, it's incomplete. Diplomacy and influence are different now. Gold is no longer the main diplomatic currency. They replaced it with influence, which I kind of like. I kind of mess with that. Religion is actually really super simplified and isn't a victory condition anymore, which some may dislike. It wasn't a game changer or anything. I mean, it's all just streamlined things, but I mean, it definitely takes away a good amount of depth from past games. Customization, okay, basically non-existent. No city renaming, and yeah, I mean, I can't name my city or my town Dan DeVito's Poop Empire, which is it's just plain out unacceptable. World generation is super limited. No custom maps types and no random gen, and no wet gen, no dry gen. I mean, you can't even create large maps, which is, I don't know. You guys need to fix that at the Civ community. Performing issues, I had a few. I mean, my game did crash a few times on me while changing gens, and I don't know, just, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't my PC, just some random bugs, and for the price, I expected it more polished at launch, but I don't know. Anyway, my final verdict anyway, they're good. Combat is the best it's ever been. City, state, and barbarian changes are actually really great. Well needed. I mean, for a while now. Commanders and military mechanics are a huge improvement. The visuals and the city design looks fantastic. The age system is definitely gonna change some people's thoughts and ideas on the game. It's definitely a different flavor from what most people are used to, but I kind of enjoyed it. It just needs some working on with, especially units and military units. Now, I mean, the things not so good about the game, the UI needs work, no customization, and not even renaming cities, towns, units. I mean, that really sucks. It's expensive for what it currently offers, and I don't know. I mean, even I went for the militaric win, and it was different, you see, because I couldn't actually just take over every single capital of every empire. It was much easier to gain this time. It just wasn't as satisfying, and you essentially just have to convert people into your ideals and beliefs. So if you're a fascist, you'd have to pretty much take over a diplomat with fascism and take their cities away, and eventually you make a super nuke, and that's how you win. Which, I don't know, I mean, that was kind of lame. Instead of just pure world domination. I mean, I did take over an entire country, but whatever, right? Would I recommend Civ 7? I guess is where I should end off, right? I would, 100%. It's a great game. As much as I complained about it, it's definitely fun. But I would wait if you're new to the Civ series. I would wait for it to be on sale. If you're a longtime Civ fan, I'd say maybe watch a little bit more gameplay and read some reviews before jumping in. It's definitely an expensive penny. It's still definitely fun, but it's a different flavor and a different style from previous Civ games. I've only played 5 and 6, but it is completely entirely different from those two. And not everyone's gonna vibe with it. But, I mean, that should be it, guys. That really should be my intake from Civ. I only have 38 hours in it, and I only have one playthrough. But for now, that is all for me. Till next time, guys. Thank you.